Golden State Warriors' Jimmy Butler just unfortunately limped off the floor with a significant looking right knee injury sustained on this play. And in this video, we'll take a closer look at the injury mechanism and what I'm concerned about here for the Warriors star. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal in this channel is to teach more about the medical side of the sports world. Now, we're looking at this play here for Jimmy Butler. This injury literally just happened like 5 minutes ago. College football playoff just finished. Saw this come up and wanted to take a quick look at it here for you all. So let's talk about what we're seeing with the position of his right knee as this play unfolds. So Butler is going to be up in the air. As he comes down and lands here, I want you to focus on that position of his right knee. Number one, we talk about these kind of three positions that we'll see with an ACL injury because, spoiler, that's honestly what I'm concerned about here. Number one, we see that the trunk is leaning over that injured side. So of course the right knee is what we're worried about. His trunk is shifted towards that right side, which is going to cause additional kind of rotational momentum going over that knee, leading to this whole cyclical movement where the trunk wants to rotate over, the knee wants to go in. That rotational force contributes to that, what we call dynamic knee valgus, where that knee caves inward in this position. And that is a position of high risk for an ACL tear. The other thing that we're going to see with Butler, unfortunately, is as he comes down, his knee is in a relatively straight position, right? The knee being straight like that, the foot lands fairly flat and sudden. That causes a high ground reaction force. That load from him jumping, coming down on the ground pushes back. High ground reaction force coming back up into the leg, more potential energy to be transmitted into the ligaments of the knee. The subsequent things that we see then with this knee buckling inward is what's the most concerning part of this. Typically, this is what we see, right? We see that position where the foot's a little bit rotated outwards. We see this tibial rotation, that knee buckle inward. This is absolutely concerning for an ACL injury. Now, the one good thing that we don't clearly see, now it could be there, we just don't have a great camera angle to capture it, is if you remember what the ACL is trying to do, right? The ACL is preventing the tibia, the shin bone, from going forward anterior relative to the femur. So whenever the ACL tears, we see the tibia shift forward and then pop back in place as one of an observable signs that you might see on a replay. Here with Butler, we don't clearly see that. We don't clearly see the tibia forward and then pop backwards. But again, it could just be that, right, we're not seeing it with the contour of compression leggings, but definitely still a concerning position nonetheless. For comparison's sake, I want to look at a similar injury that this reminded me of. This was Dario Saric when he injured his ACL a number of years ago. And you can see kind of similar, right? He's coming down here. It was also the right knee, kind of a similar jump stop landing. That foot comes down, a relatively flat foot. And then what you're going to see with that right knee, you see that rotation inwards. For Saric, that was all it took to sustain an ACL tear. And so that subtle little internal rotation movement of his knee is what is concerning to observe and what we saw similar happen with Jimmy Butler. The other side view here, we don't really see anything that's helpful one way or the other that we haven't already discussed. Again, we see the same sort of thing though. Butler's landing, relatively flat foot, high ground reaction force, trunk is leaning over that injured right side, and then we see that knee right there fall inwards. That inwards fall, a little bit of rotation, that is highly concerning for an ACL. Best case scenario with something like this is that it is just something like a sprain, like a partial injury or a partial tear. Remember, the MCL is also sitting on the inside of the knee, and when the knee falls inward like that, you can also have some trauma to the MCL. So MCL would be another more optimal case scenario. Meniscus tears, right? Meniscus tears can come along with the ACL, but definitely ACL is going to be the number one thing that we have to be concerned about. The other thing too that really does worry me just is Butler's reaction to this, because players oftentimes when they tear their ACL, they will feel a pop, and you could see how quickly Butler reacted as soon as his knee went inward. Something happened in this moment to cause him a significant amount of discomfort and a reaction, and so something happened in his knee to cause him to react like this. He didn't get hit, so there's clearly some sort of injury in his knee based on what we're seeing. Again, to recap, trunk leaning over the affected side, foot landing relatively flat and straight, suddenly high ground reaction force, knee buckling inward with some rotation, very much a high risk position for an ACL. I hope I'm wrong here. Remember, with an ACL tear, often your initial physical exam is very reliable before swelling sets in. This is now about 15 minutes, 20 minutes after the injury happened. The team probably has a very good sense in the locker room about how stable his knee is. If we start hearing reports about high concern for significant injury, Those are the clues to make you think that their initial physical exam test, where they pull on, they stress the ACL and see how much it moves, and if there's a good firm endpoint, something like the Lachman test or the anterior drawer. I prefer the Lachman test. Those sorts of clues that we'll see come out, if it's not point blank about ACL intact or not intact, will give you a sense before the MRI scan of how concerned we need to be. One of the situations, I definitely hope I'm wrong here, but seeing this position, I hate calling things that are more significant, but that's what we absolutely have to be concerned about here with that position for Butler. Remember, not all ACL injuries are going to be full-blown ruptures and complete tears. You can still have a sprain, and so we'll hope for the best and a positive update with Butler. Thanks as always for watching the video. Let me know as always questions or comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.